Hello and welcome to this continuing. We haven't actually come up with a proper title for what this series sequence thing is. Crossover with Hamlet to Hamilton and the Beyond podcast. I'm your host, Robert Crichton, and we are in the middle of the 1570s. We started back at the dawn of time over on the Hamlet to Hamilton podcast. We then sashayed over in the 1560s, over to the Beyond, and now we're midway through the 1570s and continuing to dance through texts and verse and dialogue styles with these wonderful guests who are with me here. Who are you, and what is your purpose in life?
No? Okay, all right. Hi.
Oh, I didn't realize I was being invited. My mistake.
Go for it, Colin.
I'm Colin. I'm one of the co-founders of Hamlet to Hamilton, also a sound designer and actor, etc.
You're being modest. Right after this, you're going to act in a Duckman play.
That is true. We are doing Measure for Measure set in a mega church. It's been very successful, and we have another sold out show tonight. Yes. Oh, I can't even mention the titles? Oh, come on. No, it is your house, Robert.
It is. You are in my domain now.
And I'm Emily C.A. Snyder, the other podcast host and founder of Hamlet to Hamilton, and occasional more 2020, 2021 guest on the podcast over here, the Beyond Shakespeare company, and some of the exploring sessions.
Yes, and so where were we previously? We had got midway through the 1570s. We'd done a little bit of a dance through some happy times with horror, the personification of horror. I'd forgotten all about that one. That was The Conflict of Conscience by Nathaniel Woods. We danced through some fragments. He said, scrolling frantically through love, feigned and unfeigned, new custom, all of the hits from the 1570s, because we just don't have many texts from the 1570s. July and Julian debate whether that belongs there, and yes, so we started the 1570s with actually a text from the 1560s, one of the Marriage of Wit and Science, one of the iterations of a sequence of plays, and so we've got to the mid 1570s, and I've been sort of doing some rough exposition as to the political context, and I'm just going to sort of retcon a little qualifier into some of my previous sessions, which is, of course, I'm not an expert on the historical stuff. I am just grabbing books randomly and jumping on talking points, and just I'm going to be trying to be a bit increase the balance as well as we go on, because it may seemed earlier that we were a bit of a Protestant apologist, whereas we're going, oh, Mary, oh, wasn't she mean? Don't worry, Elizabeth's going to get meaner as the years pass on. As we hit the mid 1570s, we are going to get into some pucker persecution. Let's all really be clear that all of the monarchs of the period, they're all arseholes. All of them are.
Well,
because they are monarchs, and they are absolute monarchs.
Thank you.
They have no.
As the saying goes, it's not actually absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's absolute power reveals absolutely, is the actual original quote. Yeah.
Now that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah. So it is interesting, the context of why these things happen. I think there are extraordinary pressures that will go on to Elizabeth as she goes on, but increasingly paranoid and increasingly oppressive as time goes on in different ways. So just throwing it. Anyone thought I was going too one way earlier in some earlier episodes? I just don't worry. You ain't seen nothing yet. So I thought we'd start this session just with this isn't in a sense a reminder of earlier forms. This is a contemporary form. And I'm going to ask Emily to here's a bit of Satan.
Great.
Would you
And
read-
just remind me, where is this from? Or do you want to do all that afterwards?
I'll do that afterwards. I just want you to
great.
just enjoy a bit of Satan. We probably won't do all of this, but just let it flow. And it has got some notes down the side, and it has been moderately, a little bit modernised. But yeah, a bit of Satan for you.
Great. And I'm going to say actually off the bat, because as we're recording this, we're releasing the early episodes on our feed. And one of my jobs is to update the website, which we're actually doing this year. Hooray! So that our audience, truly amazing, because I'm in the middle of a PhD. So come on, guys.
Truly, yeah.
Anyway, but so one of the things that we're doing is obviously making sure that the links to any of the Beyond Shakespeare full audio recordings is on the page for our listeners to be able to reference and to listen to. So I've been listening to them. And something I've noticed when you do a full presentation on here is everyone speaks much slower than I'm accustomed to going with any text. So I'm saying up front, I'm going to take this slower and see if that actually improves my verse reading. All right? All right, which is counterintuitive to what we're taught as Duckman actors.
Yeah, for sure.
Duckman actors are told to no breaks, just go, go, go. So here we go. All right, some Satan. Slow Satan. Now, by my sovereignty I swear, and principality that I bear, in hell pine when I am there. A gammon I will essay. There is a dozebird I would dear that walks abroad wide where, who is his father, I wot near thee sooth if I should say. What master man ever be this that now in world comen is? His master I wot did never amiss, and that now marvels me. His father can I not find ywis for all my craft and my quaintice. It seems that heaven all should be his. So stout a sire is he. He is man from foot to crown, and gotten without corruption. So clean of conversation, none I knew none before. All men of him marvel moan. For as man he goeth up and down, but as God with devotion he has been honoured yore. Sith the world first began, knew I never such a man, born of a deadlich woman, and yet she is wemless.
And we'll pause there. So, this is a text with various textual variations, which you have some notes in the wings on your script that yet she is wemless and he yet wembles is my favourite variation on that. So the reason why I've thrown this in, it's 1575, is sort of where we're dating where we currently are in our timeline, and this is the final year that the Chester Mystery Cycle is performed.
Ooh.
So this text has its source going back a couple hundred years, and of course it's been a while since you did mystery plays.
Yeah.
And of course we call it Chester Mystery Cycle. It's not being performed on Corpus Christi. It's actually Whitsun plays. It's performed over 3 days. That's how they were doing it. And in 1575, the mayor gets called in and said, "You still performing these? I think you're fine. We've been saying for you not to do that. Would you like to stop doing that now?" So this is, I believe, the last recorded performance of the Chester plays.
Oh, wow.
So this is both contemporary and gone.
Right. Pardon me. And when, so this bit would have been written considerably earlier, yes?
Yeah, well, as far as we know, these
Yeah.
copyings are contemporary with where we are in the timeline. So
Okay.
People are still copying.
Whatever, updating.
Yeah, so there
Yeah.
it may be a slightly more early modern reading of the text because sometimes the scribe might, tweak some of the more medieval elements. But also
Or they can't read the other handwriting, so they're also like, what is that word?
Yeah, and Chester is one where we have multiple different texts of the same plays. And also, this comes post-Reformation, so it's a point when, to try and keep them alive, people are rewriting them and removing the heavier Catholic doctrine,
Right,
so the cult of the Virgin Mary and things like that get excised or reduced.
Right, but you can't go wrong with a bit of Satan in a Christian play.
Absolutely. Satan has a long career, and maybe we'll do a separate Satan episode because he's got a. It's interesting his journey as a character actually over time.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, my English professor from my community college did his doctorate on the character of Satan in medieval literature.
Oh, that's wicked cool.
so,
Did he publish it as a book as well, or do you know?
I don't know. I should ask him if it's available somewhere. But yeah, I remember him telling us about that, like how fascinated he was by the fact that Satan's so often depicted as green in that period.
But it makes me think of like Green
artist
Goblin
renderings.
and also
Right.
Green and Purple and Marvel and DC difference.
Oh,
That's the evil colors, the green and purple.
yeah.
Which is kind of interesting.
Evil and mischief.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Huh.
Anyway,
And so, Emily, obviously, you know this text very well. So,
Do I?
yes, you do. You've been.
Did I perform this? What?
Yeah, you didn't read Satan, but you were in this play.
Wait. Yes. Wait, was I an angel at the end?
I think were you one of the Pharisees or Sadducees? Or
Oh, I
something
was a
in
Pharisee.
Yeah.
Oh, it's yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, the great. Okay, this is Kareem was this role, right?
Was
he Satan?
Well, I should know this off the top of my head because I commissioned
Closely?
this production. I didn't produce it.
I think or was he Jesus? I
Might
can't
have
remember.
been Jesus. Let me just very quickly check my own thing. It's my own
Yeah,
fault.
this is the temptation of Jesus and the woman caught
in adultery.
Hey. Yeah, well, I was in the second half of this more.
Yes, no, and it was all recorded separately and in chunks
yeah.
and bits and pieces. I think you were in one of the ensemble sort of recordings.
Do you know what though? No, but this was the play where I realized that that basically the lines, if a line had a shape, again, for the Duckman and for a lot of people who try to be like the Duckman, so for a lot of people who try to do a sort of early modern look, even if you're doing Marlowe, but mostly Duckman work, let's say, and pseudo Duckman work, is you kind of dive into the line and come out strong. So it's like you're going down a hill and then jumping off the end. So there's a downward curve, right? And for Marlowe, I tend to find that he's just from like he goes from the bottom and there's a constant crescendo up to the end of his line. But it's in this that I found, at least for the Pharisee, that if you sort of start strong, now by my sovereignty I swear, and principality that I bear, emphasizing the ends of the line more than the middle, you've got it backwards. And this is when I realized that these are in sort of hill shapes, that the beginning isn't as important. Look at the beginning words. Now by, and in a, there is that who is the, and the endings are, they're functional rhymey, but they're not like hugely actable. I guess swear is good. I bear, am there, say, would, dear, where, near, should say. Like, it doesn't give you information. But in the middle of the line, by my sovereignty, principality that hell pine when I am, gammon I will, That the information is in the middle of the line rather than at the ends, which is, again, what when you're trained to be a Duckminian, a Duckminian actor, you're trained to emphasize the ends of the line more than the middles, and that is not the only way that a verse line can be. So this play actually was like crucial to unlocking something about verse for me that I hope one day will be in a trade paperback instructional book for people to be able to read.
Yes, for the record, Kareem was Jesus.
Okay, all right, that makes a lot more sense.
You were Pharisee number 2.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
not that there's a ranking system for the Pharisees or anything, you know.
No. But my Pharisee number 2 had a rich backstory. Real name Bob.
Yeah. Bob the Pharisee. Yes.
Bob the Pharisee. Yeah.
So this was
Massachusetts Bobs.
This was commissioned by me and beyond for production, and that was produced by Fiona Thrale and Sarah Golding, by Dashingly Quirky, and that is on our podcast feed. But credit where credit's due. I just sort of instigated it, and I did sit in the background sending messages in the chat to the directors as it went on. It was like, with full permission to ignore me if necessary.
I am curious what you guys thought about taking it slower. I found that it seemed to, for me, it felt like it worked better as well. Certainly in terms of like actually tying together what the heck I mean, as well as not making it as bouncy, because this is now by my sovereignty I swear, this is trimeter, and principality that I bear maybe tetrameter. In hell pine when I am there, a gammon I will essay. Yeah, it's going back and forth between 3 and 4.
Okay. So you've also, there's more evidence of the hill shape you were referring to.
Oh, you mean sort of like swelling, as it were. Yeah.
Like kind of a breathing motion. Expanding, contracting.
Well, it's even in here. I mean, I would call this not stickic verse, which is line, but strophic verse, because it's very obvious that every 4 is is sort of, these 4 lines should be überschwumpft together, as we would say over on our podcast. To schwumpf is to connect, as 'twere. Should be überschwumpft together. These 4 lines all will add up to mean something.
Yes,
as a unit.
And that's very much the way the medieval texts work. Is that the stanza is where the unit of information lives,
right?
And then you'll move on in another stanza to another unit of information, or you'll repeat the previous unit of information because you're shouting out on the street, and so it's not like you're spreading the information around in a different way to if you're in a building with architecture.
Well, it's also going to be easier the slower you go to get breath, and there's almost caesures on every foot. I'm sorry, Colin, I cut you off.
Sure. No, I was just curious, Rob, to know if there has been modernization at all in the formatting here, or is this basically just kind of transliterated from the text you had?
I am, in terms of the format, the stanza, the way it's broken out. I'm fairly certain that's following the original. I'm just picking up. It may be finessed in a slightly different way. I mean, I don't tend to put spaces between stanzas. I tend to just put a dash in place because it's actually it collects in. Whereas I put after every 4, it's down as every 8. So in the version I'm looking at the moment, but I mean, there may be variations.
It, in some ways, right? Because if we don't know exactly what the playwright intends, there is an element of the editor trying to make things clear in the layout, in the formatting.
Yes.
And if this is one that's rewritten, you're going to have people who go, oh, no, look, this is every 4, and some going, this is every 8, and some people saying you don't need any breaks whatsoever, or I don't want to lose a bit of paper by putting a break in between stanzas. You know, all these things sort of.
And just,
Yeah.
and I've probably said this before in the distant past, but we were talking about the length of line, relatively short lines, and we were talking about breath. If you are bellowing, which is what these texts are asking you to do, you're not in an architecturally controlled space.
Right.
Even an amphitheatre has mechanics effectively to help aid your voice project. You will run out of breath very quickly because you're using it all up. Even more so than in a big theatre. So the shortness of the line is also partly structural. It's so that you can get a breath. I mean, I'm sure you can probably do more than one line in a breath, but you'd be surprised how quickly it disappears.
Yeah.
Even with a longer line from an early modern iambic pentameter line.
Right.
If you're in an unsupported space, it's amazing how quickly you run out of breath.
Yeah.
This is one last thing that I would just like to note for the listener about it in terms of is this in 4, is this in 8, is that clearly these are, you know, every 2 stanzas are connected to each other as it were, particularly by the rhyme scheme. So not just that the 4th line rhymes with the 8th line, but it's interesting because I was expecting, as I was going back and looking at it now sort of more closely, I was expecting the rhyme scheme AAAB, CCCB, but actually it's AAAB, AAAB, then the next 8 lines would be CCCD, CCCD. Do you see that? It's like swear, bear, there, essay. Dear, which in mine doesn't, you know, my accent doesn't rhyme, but dear, where, near, say. So you get it even more closely aligns 2 stanzas at a time by the rhyme scheme that doesn't just pull it together by the 4th line of each stanza, but in fact also doubles the rhyme for the first 3 lines of each stanza.
Yeah, I see that now. Interesting.
Yes, so that is a thing that is now disappearing. Finally, I around about now, this is pretty much the point where it has taken 40 years to kill off the mystery cycles as a big civic thing.
Wow.
It's taken 40 years, and it's been back and forth, and you know, it's not one thing. It's just basically it's the Reformation. It took it out eventually. Do
we know if towns were upset by this?
Or they fought. This is the thing: is that York and Chester, they're going, this is a big part of our civic life. That's why the Lord Mayor gets called in to answer questions. Why did you put on these plays?
Oh wow.
And you know, and in the sort of final moments, it seems that they're calling in, the bishops and the archbishops are calling in the script, saying we want to inspect your script, and then it's never seen again. And that seems to be, and that's why something like this is copied so many times. It's clearly they know the jig is up, and they're saving it for future generations by their copying. Because as I say, Chester comes. There are about 8 different manuscripts that survive of Chester. Some of which are not insubstantially different to each other. So there's lots of questions about that text that comes to us as to why it came into existence.
Okay.
So people
All right.
cared about the past, even in the past.
What?
So 1575, and it's our last George Gascoigne.
Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George. The Glass of Government. Which is a long play.
Is this another one that is is this original to George, or is he translating something again?
No,
here?
I think this is original to George. I will check that while I will do some.
I always so cruelly ask you
questions about things. I am fairly certain it's it. I think it'd be unfair to say that I'm a bit worried about George towards the end of his life. Because this is quite different to the two other plays you've seen,
Yeah. Okay.
there is no specific source for this, as far as we know.
Right.
So, and I'm not going to ask you to read all of this. In fact, we're going to skip on in a moment. But I just want to give you an idea of why I'm worried about George.
Okay.
So there are two interlocutors in this little passage. Pick a Philo. There are
Colin,
the
what are
reason
you
it's
feeling?
numbered there, by the way, is there are 6 characters who are called Philo. Or
Why not?
Oh. Okay,
they have a different
did they
suffix.
function like a chorus?
They have a different suffix at the end of their name, but they all start with lover of.
Right.
Okay.
And
Rob, would you mind scrolling down a little bit?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
You're not
All right.
going to?
No,
Okay.
I will in a second.
Okay.
Alrighty, we
All right,
trust
we
you.
shall see why in a moment. I'm
Yeah.
Colin, who do you want to read?
sure. I will try the assorted Philomusis.
Yes,
The
correct.
Fuses.
Yes.
Okay, so I will be Nomomaticus.
Yes, and
Okay.
Nomaticus is
Nomaticus,
the
thank
teacher,
you.
as it were, and the Philos or Philos or whatever you want to go for, they're all the students. This is class time, people.
Okay, so class. So am I speaking collectively as 6
No,
students?
no,
all
no.
at
You're
once?
just one of them. I just gave it the number 6 so we could read it because nobody could remember who they were.
So you're the 6th
Oh, okay.
student.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. Here I go. Glass of Government, George Gascoigne. All right. Sir, we beseech you that for as much as this order of teaching is both very compendious and also much different from the lectures which have been read unto us, you will therefore vouchsafe to stand somewhat the more upon every point to the end, that as well your meaning may be perspicuous, as also that we may the better bear away the same, and not only learn it without the book, but also engrave it in our minds.
Your request is reasonable, and it shall be by me as readily granted as it hath been by you necessarily required. Your first chapter and lesson shall then be that in all your actions you have an especial eye and regard to Almighty God. And in that consideration I commend unto your memory, first, God himself, and secondarily his ministers. As touching your duties unto God himself, although they be infinite, yet shall we sufficiently contain them in 3 especial points to be performed, that is to say, fear, love, and trust.
Oh my
And
goodness.
first to begin with fear. I'm taking this so slow. It shall be necessary, not too slow, it's a very long paragraph. And first to begin with fear. It shall be necessary and above all things your bounden duty to fear God and his omnipotent power. Linus, that ancient poet, writeth, that with God all things are easy to be accomplished and nothing is impossible. Tully, in his oration, Pro Roscio Amarino, saith that the commodities which we use, the light which we enjoy, and the breath which we have to draw, are given and bestowed upon us by God. Then, if with God all things be possible, according to Linus, he is to be afeared. Sinseth... Sorry, I lost my place.
No, I'm just showing you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm not going to ask you to read any more.
Oh, Lord.
Now, for the listeners at home, I just scrolled down another page of this.
How many pages does this go
there's
on
more.
for?
This is
thought
just,
Lily was bad.
Yeah. So it is
George, what are you doing?
something.
Was this to be memorized? Was this performed?
Well, this
Is
is
this performable?
this is the thing. This is why in the group we have a whole thing about is the tome compendious, because this part of the play I don't think is designed for performance at all. I think it's designed for reading on some level.
barely to be read. It's just too much.
It's just, and as far as we're concerned, about where you got up to, a sign would come up saying 4 hours later, and then we cut to the end. It's one of the only readings where I had a ripcord for the readers to say, we'll skip to the end if you want.
Oh, wow.
And people were going, no, I'm going to read it all. I'll paraphrase this bit.
Well, I think part of what I'm looking at here in terms of playability is it's just a lecture. So
yeah, I was just going to observe that. In terms of verse form, this is just an essay. Right?
I mean, it
Absolutely.
reminds me a bit, actually, of reading Socrates, right? Which was written by Plato, and is written in dialogue fashion. But it's basically student having, very something short, saying, "Oh, you're so smart. Won't you teach me?"
Yeah.
And then Socrates
yes.
goes on for a while.
Yeah.
And occasionally Socrates will say, "Do you agree with me, you silly person I am speaking to?" And the silly person says yes or no. And then we go on from there.
Yeah. And it's exactly like that, and there is a plot. Other stuff happens in. They go off. They do what happens in these plays. Two of the students just want to study. Two of the students just want to go off and have sex and drink and things, and then we find out what happens to them when they visit sex workers.
Is there a morality play in this?
Yeah, it kind of is. But yeah, I just wanted to just show you where George goes. But I'm going to also now be kind because you like verse. There is verse in the play.
Oh, that's nice because
not all in prose. And here is one of the choruses.
Great.
Oh, cool.
Colin, you want to take this?
Sure, I'll give it a try. Also, Rav, I appreciate your your transitory note, but seriously, before getting into the verse.
Yes, I wasn't going to make you read all of that. I'm not that mean.
That's fair.
Well, I mean, your listener is also gonna go just fall asleep. I mean, this could be.
It's very.
If we spoke it like this, you could. It's a meditation app.
Oh yeah, it would. It would lend itself very neatly to vocal ASMR. But it's also very funny that my character was begging him to essentially be more concise, and then he goes on for
well,
3
also
pages.
let us read the book, and he's like, "No, I shall lecture it to you."
I will read the book. I will read it out to you now in class. He's that kind of teacher. I'm just going to read the textbook to you.
Oh Lord!
All right. Do I need to know who I am?
You are the
speaking
chorus,
this?
so you're commentating on the action. I think that's
Oh, okay. The
all
chorus.
you need to worry about at this point.
That was a very deep question, though, Colin.
Who are you?
Can I ask who I am?
Right. Yes. Fair enough. And I have a question, but I will save it for when I am done here. Okay. So, beginning until I am stopped. The shed is great, and greater than the show, which seems to be between the good and bad, for even as weeds, which fast by flowers do grow, although they be with comely colours clad. Yet are they found, but seldom sweet of smell, so vices brag, but virtue bears the bell. The prancing steed can seldom hold his flesh, the hottest greyhound leaves the course at length, the finest silks do seld continue fresh, the fattest men may fail sometimes of strength. Such deep deceits in fair pretence are found, that vices lurk where virtue seems to bound. A Spanish trick it hath been counted oft, to seem a thing yet not desire to be, like humble bees which fly all days aloft, and taste the flowers that fairest are to see. But yet at even, when all things go to rest, a foul cow shard shall then content them best. Well, yet such bees, because they make great noise, and are withal of sundry pleasant hues, be most esteemed, always by common voice, and honoured more the bees of better thews. So men likewise, which bear the bravest show, are held for best, and crouched too full low. But virtue she, which dwells in secret thought, may good the seed, which whatever be the smell, though outward glows,
Obviously.
we shall see, sometimes do seem but not. Yet inward stuff of virtue doth excel, for like a stone most worthy to esteem, It loves to be It loves to be much better than to seem.
And there we'll stop. Because now they're going to link this moral point to the plot with character names and things.
I see. Oh, and we have
character
names here.
that no one's going to remember.
No.
Philosarchus.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
Yeah,
so I will admit I
names.
don't know what I was saying at.
Well,
for most of this, actually.
Yeah,
So
so
what did I say, Rob?
Well, broadly speaking, it's to do with we got in towards the latter end. We were talking about the outward and the inner. Someone who's dressed up and looking fancy is not necessarily better than someone who is contemplative and interior and controlled. There was an awful lot about bees. I always love it when people start talking about bees. It's the sometimes they go for not the shiniest, most exciting flowers. The wise bees sometimes just go for a simple thing like a cow shard. That will make there'll be some bees that make a lot of noise and just like the shiny colours and thing. So it's sort of this thing. What I want to do is ask you a question of what does the first line mean?
The shed is great and greater than the show. Why shed? The shed is right, by the way. The word is correct.
Oh,
okay.
No.
Are they talking about the performance space? In the vein of this great wooden O from
do they mean should and they've spelled it weird, or shed like to get rid of something? Is it like the past performance of show?
Well, let's see. Are there any context clues? The shed is great and greater than the show, which seems to be between the good and bad. For even as weeds, which fast by flowers do grow, although they be with comely colours clad.
I'm going to say I don't know the answer. By the way,
we don't know.
I'm genuinely asking
question.
the question. We have thoughts that maybe it's to do with a watershed that the shedding off of things, or is what you divest yourself of is better than what you hold in place, or something like that.
Actually, yeah, I could see that shedding.
However,
what you leave behind.
Yeah.
Right.
But basically, this was the point in the after many hours of hysterical reading of trying to get through long speeches, someone hit the chorus of "The shed is great," and that became a point of religious worship for us. It's an in-joke now.
The shed is great.
We have a great shed. I keep tools in the great shed.
Well, I'll let
Our
us have our
shed
laugh,
is better than yours.
I do have a performance question here. So is this one of the Philos that's saying this?
This is the chorus. So this is the chorus. So it's in between acts. It's commenting on the action.
Sort of narrator.
Happened.
Oh, so the chorus. So do the Philos compose a chorus, as I was asking before, or is this a different entity?
No, this is the author sort of presenting his thesis to the audience, counterpointing, summing up what's happened in the play. And I say where it's about to go is it's going to then use the characters to say this character was a bit like the bee that goes for the cow shard, and this one is like the other one.
This is a terrible play.
I'm going to say I've only given you the terrible bits.
Great, I love that. But also
because it is excessively long. You have to cut about a third of the play because it's ridiculously long.
But the thing is, it's also so. What we've seen thus far is so academic in either sense. Just thinking, just to remind everyone, because again, so we're verse nerds. That's why we're over here. We're not history nerds. We are, I guess, verse and poetry nerds. And George Gascoigne is important to us because he is one of the founders of essentially taking Greek ideas of meter, such as in this very strong iambic pentameter, and figuring out how it could gloss onto the English language. He's followed up by Sir Philip Sidney, but George Gascoigne's work is one of the earliest ones of adopting Greek meter onto English and trying to force that as part of the Renaissance, really, and as this purposeful movement away from the embracing of Anglo-Saxon, which is more about rhyme as well as alliteration, and towards something that they saw as Latinate, right? And that's where you have, because they saw non-rhyming in Italy, and that's where they brought it over to England, and we're like, ooh, see, we don't have to rhyme. And it just, a decade ago, or even less, we saw the iambic pentameter explode with Gorboduc. And even if that is, as you were saying, Rob, just in sort of academic circles, George Gascoigne probably was aware of that movement. And certainly his iambic pentameter, Colin, that you were just reading right here, is really rather perfect. It's so perfect and so academic that it ceases to be understandable, actually. And this is what it was reminding me of. And I've mentioned this before, but I don't think I mentioned it on this podcast, is there is an author called Arthur Phillips. So an author named Arthur Phillips. And he wrote a novel called The Tragedy of Arthur, as in his first name, and as in the King Arthur. And in that book, he wrote a 5-act play that he says was written by the Duckman. All right. But it's really Arthur Phillips wrote a 5-act Duckman-esque play. This 5-act Duckman-esque play, yes, about King Arthur, kind of. It doesn't even have it doesn't have Lancelot. Guinevere is named something else. Anyway. Yeah. But this was put on in 2013 in New York City by the Guerrilla Shakespeare Project, and my cousin had a free ticket, and I had no work, or it was 2012 even, and I went and I saw this, and I got seasick while watching this play, because Arthur Phillips had written in such perfect iambic pentameter. I would suggest he was so actually not early moderned or Duckmaned as he was Gascoigned, that you actually felt ba-da, 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 and had such strong end stops. There's almost no enjambment in The Tragedy of Arthur by Arthur Phillips, that you didn't even have sort of rushing onto something else. There were no other rhythms at all. There's maybe 2 scenes with incredibly with seafarers that are in prose, and those were such relief when they would happen, because I'm swaying in my seat and going, I'm having difficulty following the plot, because it's almost 2.5 hours of ba-da, 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 ba-da. So it's fascinating to see you. I see you, Acosta there. I must say, to see George Gascoigne do this, but it's also a highly academic rather than dramatic way of approaching writing a piece that is formatted like a drama. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is a very odd,
pretty on the page. Too. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, this is a very odd thing, and it may be partly to do with the chorus. I just briefly threw in a bit of Jocasta.
Could I try that? Jocasta,
yes, well, we've already done Jocasta, remember, because we did in the 1560s.
This was this George Gascoigne's
other
one? Okay, yeah. Let me try this again. O faithful servant of mine ancient sire, though unto thee sufficiently be known, the whole discourse of my recureless grief, by seeing me from prince's royal state, thus basely brought into so great contempt, as mine own sons repine to hear my plaint, now of a queen but barely bearing name, saying this town, seeing my flesh and blood, against itself to levy threatening arms, whereof to talk my heart it rends in twain. Yet once again I must to thee recompt the wailful thing that is already spread, because I know that pity will compel thy tender heart more than my natural child, with rueful tears to moaning my mourning case. Oh, he was very proud of that last line. I bet you I said that last time we read it too.
I don't know if you read this bit. I just grabbed a random bit of Jocasta. I think context makes a difference between that earlier the chorus verse and this verse.
Well, the chorus is just in some ways just doing poetry as well. Yeah. Whereas this has a character. At the same time, though, Jocasta here is saying that wailful thing that is already spread. Oh, where is it? All right, yeah. Saying this town, seeing my flesh and blood, against itself to levy threatening arms, whereof to talk my heart it rends in twain. I would criticize him by saying keeping a steady beat is not necessarily sounding like my heart is rent in twain.
Indeed.
I feel very in control of myself. Yes. Because of, but at the same time, I'm not angry because this is the cool new kid on the block. It's like, so I'm writing an iambic pentameter. You know, have you caught your kid, you know, tapping out things with one hand? Like, you know, these are the signs of experimenting with meter. So it is very exciting in that way. But yes, you're right. Context will always help. And not just sort of spurting poetry, but talking as a person helps. But even just yesterday, I was at the Shakespeare Institute where I'm doing my PhD, and we got to meet the new artistic directors of the Royal Shakespeare Company, which is very cool. And in the Q&A, yeah, they're very cool. In the Q&A, they reiterated to my question about sort of how they were approaching verse and meter in the 21st century by saying something that other actor, performers, directors who've come to talk to us at the Institute have said of there's something special in the iambic pentameter. And I'm like, that's a myth. It's just a myth. It's a myth. It's a myth that drives me nuts.
It's the problem when institutions start believing their own press releases. It's one thing to you know say hey, we're trying to sell this thing, so we're selling this concept, we're selling this thing, but you shouldn't then actually believe it's true.
Well, they were talking in a way that I'm trying to wrap my mind around, just because we don't have the class system in quite the same way in America as you do in England. And when everyone has talked about iambic pentameter, every performer, director, etc., if they in any wise think that they themselves are not legitimately the owner of an RP accent, let's put it that way, if they feel that they've had to work at all to be able to do an RP accent, you can see them talking around and feeling very imposed upon that iambic pentameter, that meter, that studying verse is a bit classist. And I'm curious because, again, this is not an American thing. I have to do some mental gymnastics to feel it, and it's not a classist thing in America necessarily, or at least hasn't become so, I don't think. Listeners may disagree. But I'm curious that Gorboduc, which first sort of sparked something, I had always thought it sparked something among practitioners, dramatic practitioners, but it seems that it sparked something with George Gascoigne through academia. Which is very different.
I'm not sure I wholly
Please
agree.
correct me. Yeah.
I mean, I actually, it just occurred to me, that bit might not be by George. Jocasta's by two authors. Anyway, Should double check that.
Do you know what? It's
I think the
still
alternated
another
actors.
example of early modern non-Duckman iambic pentameter.
Yeah,
Great. I love it.
But I mean, you're absolutely right in the sense that there is a class thing about verse. I mean, I don't think you have to go too much even into iambic. And of course, it's nonsense because the one accent you shouldn't be doing this stuff with is RP because it's this sort of later fictional accent that doesn't really have much basis anywhere.
But yeah, that verse is for fancy people. Prose is for everyone else. Is something that contemporary authors still do. Like Kyle McCloskey, therefore, someone that we interviewed, a friend of Colin and a great playwright, purposely inverted that idea in one of his plays, where verse was for, in fact, prisoners. And and that was important. But yes, so certainly verse, and I guess that's conflated with something that we've realized over on our podcast is that we forget that paragraph form can also have meter. It can have strict repeated meter, but I think
the other thing to remember is that pretty much all the text we've done so far, it hasn't been medieval, has been basically academic characters. You can argue. I'd argue the third chorus is effectively an extension of that. So let's do a little bit of prose from the same play.
Great.
And this is different class characters: Dick, Drum, and Echo. And Echo is just the name of a servant. I think these are both servants. I could be wrong on this note. But
it's in paragraph form, so it might not be a fancy person.
Exactly. Though these things will dance around a bit. So pick who wants to be Dick and who wants to be Echo.
Colin, you choose.
I'll give Echo a try.
Okay. All right, and I'll be a Dick. All right. Are we ready?
Ready.
A scene towards the end of the play.
Ooh, all right. What news? Mary Philosarchus has sent a fat breast of veal, a capon, a dozen of pigeons, a couple of rabbits, and a stoup of wine unto the lady Pandorina's house, and promiseth to be there at supper to talk more of the matter which ye wot of.
And hath he sent no more?
Why, is that not well for a footman? By Our Lady, sir, it doth me good to think what cheer I will make with the leavings, and what you wot. Be you sure he shall lack no clean trenchers, for as soon as he hath laid a good morsel before him, Dick will be at an inch with a clean plate to proffer him.
Well said, Dick, and I trow that I will skink in his cups as fast on the other side. But hear me, Dick, as for these matters, neither of us will be to seek, but there are other things to be remembered which are of more weighty consideration.
And what, I pray thee?
Mary, thou must mark whensoever he casteth a glance at the lady Lamia, and round him in the ear, saying, Beware, sir, how you look, lest her aunt espy you. And again, if he speak a word wherein he seemeth himself to take pleasure, extol him straight with praise, and say that Brabant hath too few such bloods as he. Likewise seem to wet Lamia forward, as though she showed not courtesy enough. These and 1,000 such other knacks must be devised and practised to make him come off, and whatsoever he giveth thee, let us share between us. For I promise thee, Dick, by the faith of a true Burgundian, I will be as true to thee as thy coat is to thy back.
By the mass, Echo, and that is true enough. For it hath clefts so long to my shoulders that a louse cannot well climb the cliffs thereof without a pitchfork in her hand. But I trust Master Philosarchus's fees will be sufficient to set both thee and me afloat, and make us as brave as the best.
Tush, as for that matter, if he do not another shall, he were wise enough that would lean altogether unto one bough in these days. No, Dick, be ruled by Echo, and I warrant thee we two will live howsoever the world wag. Hast thou not often heard that change of pasture maketh fat calves?
By God, and well said. But who cometh yonder?
Huh? Mary, it is the old Philopaes and his neighbor Philocalus. What is the matter, trow we? Let us stand aside and hear their talk a while.
Best of all, stand close.
Yes. I misled you slightly. Neither of them are servants. One is a parasite, so he's Echo is leeching off the household, and Dick Droom is a sort of roundabout town roister. So they're basically they're people on the make who are leeching off the household. They're not actually servants. I mean,
that was loads more fun. And it reminded me a bit of the other George Gascoigne that we read, just the prologue.
Supposes.
Yes, that was fun. So it's not, George can do fun when he wants to do fun.
Yeah. This play is very much a game of two halves, and there's the half you cut, and then there's the half you keep.
Oh no, George.
It is a bizarre. You read the first two plays, Jocasta and Supposes, and you go, these are two really nice examples of drama from the period. And then you read this and you go, oh George, what went wrong? Bits of this are really good. I mean, really, all of this element of the plot is actually really good, and with a few tweaks and adjustments, absolutely fly. But then you get stuck in a schoolroom and they're going, please sir, read me the textbook for another 3 hours, please. And you're just going,
what?
How is this the same play?
So was this written, when was this written in his life, do you
very
think?
Much towards the end. He's not long for this world.
Do we think it was performed? Do we know if it was published? Like, how do we have this manuscript?
I'm fairly certain it's published. I think maybe there was it was printed in 1575. It was on top of this. I personally think that there is a rump of a play that was just a play, and that when he went to go to get it published, or however it got published, he added material for the good instruction of the reader. That's my reading. Now, I'm not saying that's actually what happened, or that he started a perfectly normal play and he just decided that his soul needed cleansing, and he needed to talk about God so much more than you would in a play, because otherwise it's like there's a perfectly normal play with footnotes that go on for pages.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I mean, there aren't footnotes. I mean, the play is made of basically what you would call footnotes. You were reading them earlier.
What I find curious, so his first two plays though were both translations. And then when he tries to write on his own...
It's sort of a translation adaptation.
A transladaptation is as David Ives calls them. Yeah.
Where Supposes is a straightforward translation.
Right, but which is to say as well, just as a playwright then, this is his first try, sort of without a safety net. Although at the same time, he's got the safety net of, we've seen the, person wants to go off and be with a sex worker. Oh, naughty. Like, I mean, that is the play that keeps being written,
Yeah.
And that's the bit that works here. Sorry, Colin.
I see. Well, yeah, exactly. Actually, I was going to point to just how, well, I will also admit again, context, for me, it is early in my morning. For our friends also on mic here, it is later in the evening. So I'm playing a bit of catch-up just in general. But that noted, this text was either easier for me to kind of grab a hold of and get some sense out of than what I read before, where I just kind of had no idea what I was saying most of the time. Here I was like, ooh, there's some intrigue that comes through, like just by part of, and actually I approach this in how I edit the our working through of these texts. If there's fumbles, I make sure to leave them in so that we hear how we are experiencing these texts. And this one I was able to move with, whereas the others just I was not so far.
So George is, and I say there are some potential sideways sources for this one, but it seems that it's not very heavily sourced. But he's off in off in the general direction of Antwerp next year, 1576. Not a great year to be in Antwerp. That's when the siege occurs. And yeah, bit of a massacre there, which he writes a first-hand account of the massacre, which will later get adapted into a play. I say he wrote a first-hand account. He wrote a first-hand account. He translated a first-hand account and then put his name on it. And people have only recently twigged. I mean, we did a reading of it, and it was only after we did the reading that someone went, "Oh no, hang on! I found this thing. He didn't write it. He just translated it and then put his name on it and said he was there. He might have been there." There are some bits that are new, but yeah.
He does seem better at adapting.
Yeah, it's a very harrowing account. It's very, very good.
When did he die? Sorry, Colin, what? He pulled a what?
I was just, he pulled a Patrick Stewart, which is a reference to the fact that Patrick Stewart, when he was much younger, worked at a newspaper and instead would be going to rehearsal instead of out to study stories. He would be reporting and then write the stories. Oh, he's been on mic telling this story, but he would just bullshit the stories as if he'd been there and then like go on.
Oh, Captain, my
going
Captain!
To rehearsal. But yeah, that's very funny to hear that a similar thing is occurring in this moment.
Well, I don't know. It feels like a YouTuber just ripping somebody else's content and just putting it out there with his name on. I mean, that's never happened.
The more things change.
Yeah. So sadly, 1577, he is dead.
Of natural causes.
I don't know. I think he might
of Antwerp.
He wasn't killed in Antwerp.
Okay.
I put my book down that had the note in it. I don't know if we have a notation of how he died. He died in Stamford.
Keep throwing curveballs.
He died in Stamford on the 7th of October, 1577, as per E.K. Chambers. So that's the note I've got.
This is gonna bother me.
That's all they wrote.
Netherlands.
But no, he's back in the UK. UK. It's not the UK at that point. He's in Stamford when he dies.
So interesting is his certain notes of instruction concerning the making of verse or rhyme in English, written at the request of Master Eduardo Donati, a prefix to his posies, also came in 1575. So busy. Maybe it was just he was overworked and said, "Oh, the hell with it," and died.
Yeah.
Relatable.
Yeah. We've all been there. Okay. So we're still in that area. We have a translation, a play called An Interlude of Minds.
By who knows?
I don't think we know. And I will have a little look at it. This is an odd one. This was a tricky one to do. I'm fairly certain this is once again indebted to Helen Good, who actually transcribed it for us.
Hooray, Helen!
I'm fairly certain that happened, but I could be eliding. And if I'm wrong, I'm sure I will put a note in the show description. But it is a translation. And in fact, is it even in this book? I think
right.
It's
so
not
we
in
have
this book.
a translation in 1575-ish.
Yes,
but this is of something earlier in.
Yes.
Do you know what language?
No, because I'm looking in a book that for some reason didn't actually have a notation of this play. I had to find it from somewhere else, so there's an incomplete notation. So I'm having to just do some live referencing.
Would you like us to start reading as you look for books?
Interlude of Minds.
I'm curious what this note means here at the top. So yeah, title here, Interlude of Minds. What does the 12,500 at the top indicate?
That's how many words are in the text. So it's not very long. 12,000 words.
Oh my.
It's under 90 minutes. Probably
That's
75. So it's a short one. It's an interlude.
Under 90-minute thing.
Oh, I have got an author. It is ascribed to Christopher Wittels, translating from a work by Hendrik Niklaes. I can't pronounce his name.
Maybe?
He's Dutch.
Okay.
Dutch version of this started off and then is translated in some fashion. So it's got a dating range from around about now through to the end of the decade. So that's sort of where it comes about. But it's an interlude. It's probably a morality play. It will be about some things, and there are various speakers. So we've got good thinking, we have unregarding, and we have lamentation. I suspect one of you should be good thinking and lamentation, and one of you should be unregarding. I'll do the stage directions.
I'll volunteer for good thinking. Then.
Great. And I will be
looks like they've got
unregarding.
some fun.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Even before I begin this, it's interesting. We're beginning to see, I would suspect, some content interacting with form, as we didn't observe before and remarked upon with regard to the just kind of blind iambic. Here, there's a distinct difference of format between these characters, so I'm looking forward to hearing how they land on our ears. Anyway, that noted, I am ready.
Right, so you're good thinking, and you will be lamentation, and then unregarding from Emily, and I'll read the stage direction. So, as I say, I'm fairly certain this is a fairly rough, because, as I say, Helen, I think, did our copy for us. Well,
thank you, Helen.
Thank you for that. But we haven't done that much editorial work on it after that. It was a straightforward, did the transcription, and thus we go. Anyway, gotcha. We have, there is someone on stage. They're called Good Thinking, and they're going to say some words.
All right. And thus spake Good Thinking. Go to, we will be merry, with this gain that here we find. Our spinning is not easy to reel, as I suppose. Though men from many parishes thereunto were chose, yet should they not in haste our snarled work unwind. I'm seeing, Emily, you were right. I did to go slower here. Come on now, unregarding, display thee in thy kind. Make us now some mirth, ground surely thy forte. Let us sing, spring, and dance, and make a little sport, and then let us eat a while, and drink without all measure, so may we forget the time with joy and worldly pleasure.
Here do these four personages take each other by the hand and dance.
Aww.
And from within or out from above, one singeth this song ensuing, before and then in dancing manner. These four personages sing it after him, or else, unregarding, singeth it first or before.
So, okay, is this a song that should I sing this?
I think this is a song, but you don't have to sing it.
No, I'll sing it. Okay. Have you never met me, Rob?
So this explains the difference in formatting.
Yeah. Which we have seen many times, and we will see even more going forward. Okay. Let's see. Now make you merry and rejoice, and hearken duly to my voice, what I shall utter now. The man he was created free and void of any fantasy, thus must I show to yow. In freedom was he set likewise, where no barrow shall not arise. He had a body at that stay, but startled became his mate. The searching as you loose his free life away. His subtle counsel forth did flow, and sought both good and evil to know, to become like God in mind. Now when the man took on this deed, then brought he forth his false seed, plain and just must die, then quite he liked a lofty mind, wherein he stole from God so kind. His honor and would be free, He hasted that he mote be wise and prudent for to enterprise his own lord for to be. But then was he captivated the more with grievous bands and cumbers store. He selfish did provide, therein did he proceed and trust, and searching then with longing must good thinking be his guide. Good thinking be his guide. Good thinking plague which I recite is altogether the world's delight. The truth from her is taken, without lamenting still they live, and unto strife themselves to give, the peace hath them forsaken. hate and envy everywhere, now the greatest sway doth bear. Truth must not speak nor move, now reigneth mocking and deriding, persecuting, slandering with upbraiding, but invisible it goeth the love, beloved white. Of worthy fame, consider well of this the same. Ensues the love's calamity, that if the truth come to thy sight, be simple like a child, all right, with wariness continually.
Here, here do the four personages sit down and eat and drink.
I will go on, but that was amazing. Thank you, Emily. Okay, so Lamentations speaks. Oh, anguish. I mean, to sing something tuneful on a cold reed. Anyway, I certainly don't know how. Anyway, Lamentation. Oh, anguish. Oh, rueful state and misery. Oh, blind man that art so ignorant utterly. Now foolishly dost thou wander astray. Thou art grown corrupt, like the laser most filthy, which art from the head to the foot, soul, I say, altogether deformed thou, canst it not deny. There is surely in all thy members not any sound part. Moreover, thou hast yielded to unregarding's way, and into good thinking's path far entered thou art. Oh, plain and just lieth under now in smart, and good thinking the whiles teaches ignorance and tangling. I must this day lament it with woefulness of heart. Oh, when shall the man become understanding?
And then we do the musical Godspell. How long, my lord? Da, da, da. Sorry.
Yeah, it's we've got singing, we've got dancing,
There's a lot happening here.
And immediately someone comes on and says, having fun is bad.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm
grief.
just imagining him in sackcloth and ashes here.
I mean, they are...
I should have been perhaps a bit more wound up.
I don't know, I thought that was pretty great.
Oh!
Yeah, it's true. You do have a lot of O's there, don't you?
Exactly.
You have
Yeah, there's so many opportunities
4
to
lines
just scream.
that begin with O, yeah. To just scream. Lamentation's whole role is just screaming extempore.
Oh, anguish. Oh, rueful
Do you know
state and
what?
misery.
Do you know what? I would pay money to play the role of a lamentation who had no lines, just whenever you need to, you just start screaming.
Now there, hey, dear listener, now there is a thought. You can have that one for free, huh?
Well, yeah, no, so we see, so in regards to the verse, we see different rhyme schemes happening here. We also see just absolutely no regard for strict repeated meter at all. Because the first bit there, if you wouldn't mind scrolling up a wee bit, Rob, thank you. Good thinking, I was noticing, would be sometimes heptameter, hexameter, pentameter. And then, so
Kind of
would you
all over the
mind
place.
going on down to, thank you, lamentation, oh, anguish, a rueful state, and misery. Yeah, sort of sticking more pentameter, sometimes tetrameter, with the occasional hexameter, right? So the first one is sort of 7, 6, 5. This one is kind of 4, 5, 6. And I just got to think that it must be, to me, it looks like, and this is why on our own podcast we don't do translations as much, because, you know, did the original Dutch have a meter or not? Is that something that we shouldn't even be looking for, except perhaps in something that's meant to be sung?
Right.
Is this translation?
What is the editor's role?
Yeah, well, what's a translator's role? You know, is he getting just the point across, but clearly one of the things that he feels obliged to do is to keep some sort of rhyme. But I'm thinking, I dramaturged briefly this guy that was translating Goethe's Faust into English. And since that also had a rhyme scheme, when we get the actors together to give him a reading so he could sort of hear how it was going, the actors and myself, we were all wondering, okay, what does it mean when you change the rhyme scheme? And he was going, I would just do that. As Rob, as you've often said, I wasn't thinking of a rhyme scheme. It doesn't mean anything dramatically. And we're going, well, are you following exactly Goethe's rhyme scheme? He's like, no, I'm just Goethe rhymes, so I'm keeping rhyme in, and I'll just, rhyme as I can. And again, we as performers are looking for clues anywhere. Right. And in translation, I would just suggest it's helpful if the translator could leave a note saying what they cared about bringing back over. What are they trying to get at here? Yeah, what were they valuing in sort of preserving the essence of? But what did you find, Colin, as you were reading the longer lines? It felt very playable.
Yes. This was as we go this morning, for my morning anyway, it does seem that either I'm waking up more or the texts that we're moving through are just easier to grab a hold of. Although Lamentation being named Lamentation gives me some pretty clear direction. I suppose.
Well, it's not all the I mean, you begin with anguish.
Well, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Gives you a little bit of a clue where you're headed.
Yes, that was helpful. I'm not. Yeah. So yes, I understand now. Just Lamentation is just kind of coming in and lamenting the fact that people are enjoying themselves. I'm very curious to know what follows.
Well, I'll just give you a little bit of context. So there's a sort of central everyman type figure who or figures who have eaten of the tree of knowledge fruit. It's very straight out of it's not explicitly Adam and Eve, but they're basically Adam and Eve. It's a sort of version of the story, and so the distractions that are being poured to them here, bit Faustus like actually. This is an attempt by the bad demons to distract them from thinking about that they are seriously screwed, and they should repent. So that's what Lamentation is doing, is coming on and going, no, stop having fun, because you really need to do something to counteract the terrible curse you are brought down upon your heads. And that's what he's doing.
I'm very curious what the author is doing with the fact that it's good thinking, the character of good thinking that recommends earthly pleasures. At the very beginning.
Maybe
there.
Good as in fun, thinking towards what's an immediate good, or what feels like a good, perhaps.
Yeah, good thinking is in this case a hypocrite and devil. It's like, have a good time, man. Good living. Good living.
Good vibes only. All right.
Yeah. I hope before I die to write a morality play that comes down on the side of fun. And through the beginning of it, people keep being tempted towards idolizing suffering. And then they realize it is okay to not flail yourself and to eat the damn cookie.
Eat the donut.
I look forward to this text, Emily.
It will, and I will make sure that in there the shed is great.
Yeah, I was going to say we should commission this and do it as a second half. We should do a second half of a show. We did the first half. We'll do a very conventional morality play, and the second half we'll do the opposite.
You commission me. I will write the heck out of this for you, Rob.
You heard it here first.
Fun. I'm looking for an excuse to come back to the UK, so just keep me updated.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little snippet of another translation. next. Abraham's Sacrifice by Arthur Golding, or he's the translator anyway.
I wonder what that's about.
Yeah.
Ooh, Satan again. Hey.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. I thought I'd just give you a little bit of Satan, and we might dance and do a few other little bits and pieces. This is a really weird play, but Arthur Golding is important because he actually writes source material for things that will become plays elsewhere, or he translates things. So he's an important chap, but he doesn't actually write much in the way of drama. This is his only thing. He's translating a French play here. I think it's French off the top of my head. And so it's slightly different to the sort of mystery plays we're getting, you'd normally get. So it's a mystery play, but it's from France, and it probably isn't performed necessarily. It's just on the print market.
Well, sorry, go ahead, Colin.
Thank you. I see here after the name up top you've listed closet. Is this a closet drama?
Yeah, so closet is generally the term, and generally we don't use it anyway, is for a play that's not necessarily designed for performance. It's designed to be read. And generally we don't use it. In this context, I think this is probably the only play I can think of off the top of my head where I might use it, because most other closet dramas are neoclassical, and this isn't neoclassical, actually.
Oh, sure. No, that's so true.
This is actually a different kind of thing. I usually use neoclassical for most closet drama because that's usually really what's going on, or a neo-Senecan.
Right.
Whereas this is something else.
For my benefit, what do we mean by neoclassical and neo-Senecan in this sense?
It would be a...
is it format?
Format, basically,
style?
yeah. So it would be like a Senecan tragedy. So you missed most of those. We did them in the 1560s. But there'll be a 5-act structure. You will have lots of people will walk on stage and make a big speech about how sad they are, and then they'll walk off stage again. And then at the final act, a messenger will come on and explain what happened at the end of the play, so you don't have to watch it, because nobody wants to watch action happen in drama. That'd be awful.
I feel like this explains a production of Trojan Women that I saw some years ago.
Well, but that's what the Greeks would do. I'm thinking of, I saw a contemporary version of Iphigenia at Aulis. Where was it? A very famous off-Broadway site that I'm completely blanking on, but which is off of Union Square. Anyway, it was a fantastic production, and it was fascinating watching them find ways of the fact that all the action is happening somewhere else still make the talking about it on stage work.
Yeah,
dramatic.
So in a sense, because what you've got is Senecan drama is sort of at a remove from Greek tragedy, in the sense that it leans harder into, we're not going to have an all singing, all dancing chorus. We're going to simplify things even further to its sort of, and it tends to be more literary, but it isn't always.
Something that I would love, Colin, for you and I particularly to keep an eye out for as we're now getting into translation, which is something, like I mentioned, on our podcast, I have purposely kept away from. So, like, for example, our season 2 with Arthurian verse drama from 1587 to 2019, I purposely did not allow in any English verse translations of plays. Otherwise, there'd be even more plays that we could have talked about. And in part because of the question of, we don't know what the author was doing with the verse because we're reading the translating of the verse. But translations absolutely are a thing. And people like, in particular, I'm thinking David Ives, who coined the term transladaptation. He's been translating a lot of lesser known French comedies into rhyming verse, but he'll update in a few places, which is why he's calling it a transladaptation. I would call Martin Crimp's, he did The Misanthrope and a recent with the Jamie Lloyd Company, Cyrano de Bergerac, that was recorded and toured all over and is very good, and you can watch on National Theatre Live. And I would call both of those transladaptations because it takes the core of it and updates it even more into contemporary times, and he will actually change things about the plot. But what I've noticed in contemporary translations, even Martin Crimp, let's say, and even David Ives, and I believe Ranjit Bolt, although I haven't fully looked into his back catalog, is there is still the insistence that no matter what the original meter was, now that you're translating it into English, it will be an iambic pentameter. Martin Crimp does play with this a little bit. He uses some tetrameter in places, but by and large, iambic pentameter is what all of these translators are doing. So I'm curious to see, as we're looking at translations, just what choices the translators are doing without judgment, just sort of seeing, do they seem to, are they keeping something strict? Are they letting things be loose, as in the version that we just saw? What's sort of going on as we're now diving into, we don't have to just stay with what's written in English. We can import drama. And what do we do with it? So Satan's going to be in the habit of a monk. That's a new thing. I like that.
No. We've actually, that's a thing that happens quite a lot.
Oh, really?
After the Reformation, especially. Because if you're going to have someone disguised as Satan, it's going to be a figure from a defunct form of the clergy in the Protestant church.
Okay. Gotcha. Am I reading Satan this time?
Sure.
I would be happy to.
We'll just do down to the, just for the meter, as it were, down to the bottom of that first page, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. I go, I come, I travel night and day. I beat my brains, that by no kind of way my labour be in any wise misspent. Rain God aloft above the firmament, the earth at least to me doth wholly draw. Then that mislikes not God, nor yet his law, as God by his in heaven is honoured, so I on earth by mine am worshipped. God dwells in heaven, and I on earth likewise. God maketh peace, and I do wars devise. God reigns above, and I do reign below. God causeth love, and I do hatred sow. God made the starry skies and earthly clods. I made much more, for I did make the gods.
Ooh, that's
good. That is good, yeah.
Sorry.
God served is by angels full of light, and do not my fair angels glister bright? I trow there is not one of all my swine whose groin I make not godlike for to shine. Those lechers, drunkards, gluttons overfed, whose noses shine fair tipped with Brazil red, which wear fine precious stones upon their skins, are my upholders and my cherubims.
I had to stop you there, but we will skip on and hear a little bit just to keep that verse style in your head.
Okay,
sure.
Emily, if you be Abraham,
Yep.
and Colin, you can now switch supernatural beings through to an angel.
Okay, deal.
So Abraham coming out of his house again saith, because this is midway through the play.
Whatever thing I do or say, I weary am thereof straightway. How meet soever that it be, so wicked nature reigns in me. But most of all it me mislikes, and to the heart with sorrow strikes, that seeing God is never tired in helping me, yea, undesired. I also likewise do not strain myself unweary to remain in due and true acknowledgement of his great mercy to me sent, as well with mouth as with my heart.
Abraham, Abraham!
Lord, here I am.
Go, take thine only dear beloved son, even Isaac, and bring him to the place which hight the myrrh of God, which being done, slay him in sacrifice before my face, and burn him whole upon a hill, which I will show thee there. Go hie thee by and by.
What, burn him? Burn him? Well, I will do so. But yet, my God, the thing that thou put'st me to seems very strange and irksome, for to be... Lord, I beseech thee, wilt thou pardon me? Alas, I pray thee give me strength and power to do that thou commandest me this hour. I well perceive and plainly now do find that thou art angry with me in thy mind. Alas, my lord, I have offended thee. O God, by whom both heaven and earth made be, with whom intendest thou to be at war? And wilt thou cast thy servant down so far? Alas, my son, alas, what shall I do? This matter asks looking to.
A company of shepherds come out of
Yeah.
Abraham's house. High time it is, sirs, I trow. We are as packing on a row. To our companions, where be they? Oh, even so, thinks me, for if we all together were, we should the lesser need to fur. And there I'll stop.
Wow.
I just wanted to try and get a little contrast in some of the way
verse,
the verse is
yeah.
handling with different characters, because there's some really good stuff in there, actually. It's
Yeah.
surprisingly bouncy for a play about child sacrifice.
I honestly, reading this, I'm like, should I write an Abraham play?
There are so many Abraham plays.
Thought
there really
I have
are.
never had in my life.
Yeah.
Colin, what did you find?
This text I was able to grab a hold of immediately.
Yes.
I mean, Satan in the habit of a friar or religious, pretty clear context note that can inform you. But in terms of just feeling like I could inhabit the text, this one I was ready to. I was able to step right in, and it was a lot of fun to read. Just fun, lots of fun playing with rhyme. I am curious what the structure is. It looks like just couplets.
Couplets in
below,
iambic
so
pentameter, in pretty strict iambic
quads,
pentameter.
gods, light, bright. Yes, very, interesting too.
But I wasn't
what
angry
that implies.
I wasn't angry at that, and I'm trying to figure out
because
why.
it's used well.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, yeah,
that's why.
it's used very effectively. And like this, the contrasts, for example, is a really good example of an effective use.
Well, that's it. So they're using the rhetorical devices in there, which must come from the original. I would love to read this in the French. The God
sure.
dwells in heaven and I on earth likewise. So what that does is, let's read the whole section. God dwells in heaven and I on earth likewise. God maketh peace and I do wars devise. God reigns above and I do reign below. God causeth love and I do hatred sow. God made the starry skies and earthly clods. I made much more, for I did make the gods. Which just...
That's such... a banger.
It hits. It hits. I'm like, I gotta steal that. No one will know unless they'll know.
Listen to this.
Listen to this. They're like, you stole that. I think though it's in
public
copyright
domain,
law.
man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so this is a rhetorical device. Those who knows rhetoric will be able to say what it is better. But it has the feel of good stichomythia. And, God dwells in heaven, I on earth likewise, where you get sort of repeated feelings, maketh peace, wars. So you get, you're getting also, what is it called? Antitheses. And antitheses on a single line. So this is just really good verse. So I mentioned schwumpf before. Schwumpf is the connection of things, is probably the easiest way to put it. In verse, we can presume that one line of verse should be schwumpf together, that somehow every word that is on the line of verse, if it's well written, is somehow connected. So, for example, God reigns above and I do reign below is all one line of verse. Those ideas are connected. A caesura is a break in the middle, and these are beautifully balanced with a caesura in the middle. God dwells in heaven, I on earth. God makes peace, I do wars. God reigns above, I reign below. God causes love, I cause hatred. And the fact that it all rhymes at the end, and these are not wrenched rhymes, these are very good rhymes. So you get the tension of good rhetoric, good antitheses, rhymes which are showing how close God and the Satan sees God and Satan. They are connected on every line. They are connected through every couplet. And then the final couplet, God gets an entire line. God made the starry skies and earthly clods. And it, I mean, even is beautiful that it is the of the couplet, it's the first line, right? So it's above. And then the next line for Satan, I made, but what he says on the lower line is, I made much more, for I did make the gods. And you have, again, I don't know what rhetorical device it is, but to begin that couplet with God and end with gods. So you have repetition of words, right? And repetition of words is chiming. It's not rhyming. Well, I mean, it's technically, it's perfect rhyme, but, it's so beautifully done with several poetic devices, beautiful use of verse, beautiful use of end stopping, just gorgeous. Anyway, go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, just go, and also like on those two lines that you're referring to, God made the starry skies and earthly clods. I like it's such that you know, using the word clods there sets up such an effective punchline too.
Yes,
God made the starry skies and earthy, not earthly. So like dirt. God made the sky and the dirt, but I made much more, for I did make the gods. That's well, and delicious.
This is something. Do you know why it also hits? Is because we've had centuries. We've had centuries of couplets, and the rhyme so rarely matters. And a couplet, one of the ways that a couplet functions dramatically so well is to have a setup that you don't see coming. So that the punchline of the second line, if the punchline can really punch, it feels so satisfying. And that's actually something that, for example, Molière was very good in doing. And it's one of the reasons why Cyrano de Bergerac works, is because it has so many good setups and punchlines. That's not the only way dramatically to use a couplet. But yeah, it's so rare that we see the couplet used in a dramatic fashion. And so it's so satisfying to see that. Yeah.
And then we get a slightly different setup for Abraham. Or, you know,
well,
things
he's
that move
speaking in tetrameter, not pentameter to begin with.
And then it shifts, and it's moving around. It's doing interesting things. And
well, once the angel comes in, it goes back to pentameter, which was fascinating. Again, sort of making, it seems that this translator, whether it's in the original or no, probably not, because French is creating the Alexandrines, which is hexameter. But who knows? Again, I would love to see the original. The sort of doubling down, or we're beginning to see the doubling down, that pentameter is very lofty, right? Is being used as poets for something lofty. But oh my gosh, Abraham's, what, burn him, well, I will do so. There was so those are, it is 4 separate sentences on one line of verse. Again, if the whole thing is connected, then I need to keep the energy, the performative energy, which I call ouvriel. So there's a performative energy that's connecting, that's schwoomfing the whole line together. What? Burn him, well, I will do so. You've got 4 changes, 4 changes of thought, but you have to keep them all schwoomfed, connected, performative energy together. And that gives so much tension. And then, oh my goodness, this enjambment. I don't think I'm trying to remember if we've seen this sort of enjambment before, which is cutting yourself off, not finishing your line at the end of a verse line, because you've decided you can't keep saying that sentence. And so it starts a new verse line. And that's what, let's see. But yet, my God, the thing that thou putst me to seems very strange and irksome for to be. Okay, so that's 2 lines. But yet, my God, the thing thou putst me to, line break, seems very strange and irksome for to be. And then the next line is, Lord, I beseech thee, wilt thou pardon me? So the thought that is not finished is, but yet, my God, the thing thou putst me to seems very strange and irksome for to be. The 2 is there to try to rhyme with so from above. So I guess it, whatever. It's a not great line break. It's fine. It's there. But the great line break is the next one. Seems very strange and irksome for to be. And he stops saying whatever he was going to say, so that we get the word verse from the Latin versus, which means to turn, or to go against, right? Like reverse, converse, I don't know, so-and-so versus so-and-so. It's all the same root. It means to turn or to be against. And here we see exactly that use of verse in the line break in an enjambment. Seems very strange and irksome for to be. Line break. Lord, I beseech thee, wilt thou pardon me? Huge ouvrial shift. Huge emotional performative shift between those two lines.
Huge allusion as well.
Huge what?
Huge allusion to Gethsemane. Let this cup pass from me.
And there is a reason why Abraham and Isaac turns up so often in mystery cycles as well. It's one bit of the Old Testament that they're always contrasting. You've got the lamb substitute at the end of the sacrifice. The Lamb of God connection. So there is this sort of conversation going on with an Abraham and Isaac play, and it's such an important text. Or all of them are important texts, especially later on to things like, any tragic setting where someone is being martyred in some fashion. They often end up alluding to this in some fashion. Maybe not directly, but you always keep going, oh, this feels a bit Abraham and Isaac. That's why I keep returning to it, and I think also why they keep returning to it.
I love seeing the shepherds coming out, though, which reminds me very much of the second Shepherds play, right? Of just...
Oh, I mean, we haven't read on, but they have a song.
Oh, man.
What? Oh, can we take a quick look at it? Yes.
Oh, okay. But, I mean, you think about this in terms of a dramatic irony thing, of course. They've got all these happy shepherds singing their happy shepherd song, where, of course, we know, off you go to do the bird of death thing.
And so right above, hold on, Isaac's last line before this song is, Colin, do you want to take Isaac? And Robert, would you mind reading the shepherds for us? I daren't.
You want me to read the song of the shepherds?
A little bit of the song of the shepherds, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to sing it, go for it. But
so Isaac says, "I will not fail it, if I may, to die therefore. But will ye stay a while until I run and know my father's will?
Yea, therefore go. Oh, happy is the wight that grounds himself aright. Oh, God, and maketh him his shield, and lets the worldly wise, which look about the skies, go wander where they list in field. No rich ni poor estate can puffer yet abate the godly and the faithful heart. The faithful go with free, although he martyred be 1,000 times with woe and smart, etc."
They're literally singing about what's gonna happen.
I'm so here for this play.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
such a weird one, and it is I think an underestimated one as well. I think people just have it in footnotes of, oh, here was a play translated by this guy who we think of more for the work that will get adapted from his work.
Right.
And actually it's got something to it is a bit weird, I have to say. It's something tonally that is a bit alien to the what happened, but it's still really quite well done.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's like proto dark comedy.
It's very gallows humor.
Is how it feels. Yeah, gallows humor. That's the word I was looking for.
I keep thinking of just what is that meme of first time? Is it James Franco?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but all, it's just waiting on the stand with a grin. Yeah.
No, okay, so just a reminder, who wrote this?
So this is Arthur Golding, who wrote various quite big prose works that I recall off the top of my head, which may or may not have been used as source for some plays by some guy.
Do we have? Do you happen to know
some stuff?
Okay, some person.
Yeah.
Do we happen to know?
Everything else has to be redacted.
Yeah. Okay. Do we happen to know if we have the play that he based this on?
I do not know if we have the play.
Once again, I send you to your books.
I will open the tome and see if I have anything in here. I ask Wiggins, do you have an answer for me? And he says something when I find the
Thus
reference.
saith Wiggins.
I might actually say if the original exists, of course. It may not be...
Just sort of translated from the French, and we have no idea.
Yeah. I'm sure it's Googleable. I would be not surprised if you cannot find it.
Let me
I will
see
have
here.
I will have a look in E.K. Chambers. God, you're sending me back to the to Chambers because I'm sure he'll have something on Golding in here. Arthur Golding. Here we are. Abraham's Sacrifice, written in French. I do not have anything particularly helpful. However,
wait! I have an Amazon UK book is saying that it was written by Theodore Beza.
Yes, Theodore Beza. Yes, we got the play right.
Okay.
Sorry, did I not say that? I apologise.
You might have, and I just can't keep names in my brain.
And Arthur Golding finished writing it in Essex on the 11th of August, 1575. So
nice. It's a good time of year to do some writing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it in the field if you like. Yeah.
Whereas Beza's tragedy was written when he was professor at Lausanne in 1550.
Oh, so this is he's bringing over new stuff.
Well,
relatively speaking.
25 years agone. Yeah.
That's how long a copyright lasted then.
Well, actually, I think the nature of copyright as it existed then, I don't think there was a sense of ending. It was you sold the ownership to the next person along.
Right.
It's just the author almost inevitably didn't own the actual rights to it. But then there isn't really an act for it. I think it's more just ongoing case law. I don't know how precisely.
Well, it was owned by the company in.
Well, yeah,
England.
you would sell your work to some. I mean, private individuals could own it.
Oh, sure.
And it would be printing rights as well, are slightly different. It's incredibly complicated because, as I say, I don't think there's actually an act of Parliament that says this is how things function. I think it's more about an ongoing body of law that functions.
Well,
you see,
I mean,
in that sense, and of course the Tudors are notoriously litigious, so it doesn't matter if there's a law for or against it; they'll still sue anyway. I genuinely don't know precisely how it actually functions as a law. I do know that, but works could be owned. These things could, but you didn't necessarily mean other people couldn't copyright nick them. It's just whether you could be asked to sue them.
Well, I mean, we're still so early in just claiming that I wrote this. Do you know? Putting your name. I mean, it's so early to even think. The idea of intellectual property is still being created.
Yeah, and wasn't it in this era that I might be pulling this from the time that I was board operator for a fantastic production of The Book of Will by Lauren Gunderson at American Players Theatre. And I remember overhearing some really fascinating discussions about the history of that period. And they were talking about how in that, around the era that the Duckman's plays were being compiled by his company mates after they realized, oh shit, if we die, so do these texts. We better do something about that. The kind of rule socially was the first to get a published version of the play was able to essentially declare the authorship, whether that was themselves
because you're registering it with the stationer's
there
office.
It is. Yes.
So you're effectively staking a claim by doing it that way.
I mean, it's calling dibs.
Basically,
yeah.
But you have to pay. You have to pay to call dibs, and then you see
That's
frequently plays and book texts be the transfer of ownership. There is a paper trail for the transfer of ownership. I say the person who usually inevitably didn't own it was the author. It was almost always somebody else. It was either the printer or the publisher, which are not always the same thing.
Right.
And which I occasionally pointedly reminded. So it's complicated. It's not like today where, we have quite strict laws that exist and function in terrible ways because they're not very good.
Yeah. Well, it's better than nothing. But even now with, anything that I publish, I only receive a certain share of book sales, let's say, let alone royalties of performances. So yeah, these things are constantly being worked out. But shall we move on?
Yes. Time is moving on. I'm trying to figure out how much we're going to get done today. But let's go into 1576. An interesting year, 1576. There's potentially 2 new playhouses being built, depending on your point of view. Point
of view? I'm sorry. What? How? How can there be a question here?
So we've got plenty of playhouses. They already exist. There are loads of them. They're in inns. They exist across London, and they're already about. The big narrative, the big shiny sign that goes up over everybody's history of theatre is this is the year that they build the theatre, and that is the big wooden O theatre that appears.
Okay.
That will get demolished in 25 years-ish, and bits of it will be used to build the Globe. And every history you will read will say in 1577 they build the Curtain Theatre. We don't know when the Curtain was built. We know it existed in 1577.
Oh.
It may have existed beforehand, and in fact there's an argument that sometimes people whisper about. I discussed this on the podcast with Heather Knight, and it's sort of bobbing around, and it was something that I first heard about at the Before Shakespeare conference many years ago now. We were talking about well, the curtain we now know is square. It's not round. Everyone used to think it was a round playhouse like all the others, and therefore it must follow the theatre, because the theatre is our first round theatre, and everyone else is emulating the theatre. But the curtain isn't. It's just a square building, and possibly by that logic, maybe it came first, and the builders of the theatre went, "Oh, we need a gimmick. We need to connect our theatre with the past," and say these are not my thoughts. I've somebody else as well made this, as it articulated this point. That maybe actually to differentiate from other theatres that are just named after their streets. The curtain isn't named because of a theatrical curtain. It's just where it is, and the Rose is just that's where it is, and all these other theatres are just where it is. The theatre is a statement. So it's entirely possible that actually 1576 there's the curtain as well. We don't know it is. It might have been built in 1577, but that is a nice little contrapoint to throw into the mix here, as well as to say there are a ton of theatres all over the place. They already exist.
Right. So sort of, but officially sanctioned theatres, as 'twere.
Yeah,
versus
the buildings. Well,
yeah.
In the UK, for example, we have a theatre called the Donmar Warehouse. Now, it was a warehouse, and they put a theatre in it. Now, does that make it less of a theatre if it wasn't a purpose-built theatre from the ground up? And that's sort of the problem with the narrative about the theatre, is somehow it makes it more of a theatre than a space that often was an inn yard that gets adapted to be a theatre. Well, it's still a theatre. There's a stage and there's a sectioning, and they function as theatrical spaces. But there's a bit of a false narrative that sort of comes up.
I think in America we would have the sensation of, okay, so we have what is sort of colloquially known as gymicafetoriums, which is in high schools and middle schools and things like that. You have an enormous room wherein the floor, with a basketball court, generally, which will be used as the gym. Then you bring out tables and use it as a cafeteria or the canteen, as you say here. And then those tables go away. Bleachers can be pushed up into the walls. And at the far end is a truly terrible stage with almost no backstage or wings, but it's elevated. It's got a horrible curtain, and you can use it for all your talent show needs and whatnot.
School assemblies, etc.
And school shows. And
school shows.
And, right. And it will be, is this a theater? Is it the basketball court? Is it a cafeteria? And that's why we call it gym a cafetorium.
There will be some spaces like that, but that would be more like your guild hall.
Sure,
and
okay.
things where it is a space that explicitly has another use. We're talking about where, a lot of vineyards, they put up a stage. It's not going anywhere. They've basically built a theatre area within their entertainment complex, and this is where I'm going to throw in. Hold up a book that won't work very well for podcasting.
Incredible
but
podcasting.
if you want the sort of the really chapter and verse on this, What is a Playhouse? By Colin Davies, is a very good book about actually the concept of what a playhouse is. As it's not just a place where you see plays, it's a whole entertainment venue that may be used for all sorts of different purposes. And you go to you may go to a playhouse, but you may just go to get beer and food, and actually you're just sitting outside and you don't even watch a play.
Do you know what? There's some truth to that with like the RSC here, where there's the cafe and people will but it's by the river. You can watch the swans. People will go to just the cafe. I have.
Yeah, much the same is true of the restaurants like around the globe. But I'm also thinking of like just the, speaking to you from Chicago. I'm thinking of the storefront theater culture here, where that's a transformed space, but it does become a dedicated theater. Right. There's also like the found space theater movement that would come later, but it's so interesting to see this discussion in 1576 or thereabouts.
Yeah, but it's seen as this big watershed of suddenly we have proper theatres and therefore proper playing companies. And you've got to remember the playing companies around 1576 are still quite small.
Right.
There's still 6, maybe a few more actors, but we're still at the sort of interlude scale of play. I mean, we haven't seen many plays that we've looked at here where the cast is very large. We still haven't got there yet.
Castle of Perseverance.
Castle of Perseverance was medieval. They didn't have the same concept of
everyone's in the play, right? You in the town? Congratulations!
Yeah.
Hold this stick. Your second star to the left.
So it's not like there's a big moment. They built a theatre and suddenly we have a professional theatre company of 12 to 16 players. That's not what's happening here, and the playhouses are going to get bigger. The curtain is very interesting because of its dimensions. It's a square stage. It's a very narrow stage. We know they spend a lot of time showing sword fights, and it's really well designed for it because it's narrow and long.
Sure.
So it's perfect for that kind of thing. And it's also the curtain is a very successful theatre. It will go on for ages.
I'm
in the way of many other theatres get pulled down or catch fire.
Right.
Right.
So the curtain is a more important theatre in many ways as well. Sorry, Colin.
Well, do we have any record of what the seating, like what was the audience performer relationship such as we know it? Because I'm curious. I remember in my theater history courses, when we got to Wagner, the announcement was essentially, and here proscenium theater is invented and codified, and of course,
I think there were proscenium theaters before Wagner considerably.
Right, yes, but, exactly.
That's an evolutionary process. It in a sense, it will depend on the space. The actors are adapting their performance based on what space they're in. So you'll have in an inn-yard setting, if an inn-yard's been adapted.
I love that.
You will have people standing on the ground, but then you may have an inn-yard will probably have bays around it that people will be able to stand at and watch. So you have the shape of your modern or the early modern playhouse as it will come, the sort of tiered seating and the on the floor standing.
Yes.
In embryo, but if you're in a guild hall, then odds on it's just a melee of wherever you put benches or chairs or and standing room, and there's a reason why plays in indoors in guild halls and things like that frequently have someone shouting "room, room" when they come on, because there's no everybody's got their legs out across the aisle and you can't get on stage.
This is so validating to learn of within our tradition here, because the show, like, later today, once we wrap here, I'm going to start getting ready to go do a show of a Duckman play in a bar.
Yeah.
And I see we have a long tradition of doing so. And sometimes our actors do have to tap people on the shoulder and be like, hey, can I come in?
As the theatres get bigger, and they will get bigger, and they'll get more organised, there will be more of that division of peoples. But they'll still go on tour. They'll still go to guild halls. They'll still go to court. They'll still go to different spaces. So the idea that there is a theatre shape for even an individual company, or that there are very different companies are merging, and they have very different ideas of how to do things, and it's still relatively small casts, 6+, as this text has noted, common conditions, which is probably, I think, our last text of this session. We might squeeze.
And common conditions is by
someone. I suspect it's not by anyone we know, because I haven't got any notes there for a playwright, but I will.
I should like to point out, Rob, we have gotten through a whole 2 years of the mid 1570s. I think that's great of us.
Yeah,
what's going on here? Huh?
I skipped. I'm regretting now that we skipped through some plays in the earlier sessions.
Well, I mean, we can go back.
I sort of already have.
This is edited.
We went back and we did some mystery plays because they're contemporary and old. So yeah, I've got no author for this at all.
Okay. But this is probably in English. It's not a translation. Probably.
Oh yeah, no. It claims, the title play claims, that the play is drawn out of the most famous history of Galliarbus, Duke of Arabia.
Wow. I mean,
and
lofty.
Yes, there are two little bits we'll do. So there's a dialogue between Shrift and Drift, and then there's an epilogue. I will read the epilogue, and you can carve up Shrift and Drift, because this is a delight.
Well, so there's Shrift, Drift, and Unthrift.
Oh, is there an Unthrift?
There is an Unthrift.
There is an Unthrift, yes. So I'll read one of those. Who do you want to be?
I'll be Drift.
Great. I'll be Unthrift. That's fine.
So I'm Shrift.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so there are three people, and then an epilogue. Okay.
Great.
Hey, lively, by Gog's blood, we tinkers are at a mad stay. For when we are in the city, there is nothing but tinkle all the day.
And by Gog's blood, shift, I cannot go, but my basin must tang. And by your leave, if I had not devised this drift, I must go hang.
And by his wounds, my masters, I am in the same state you twain be. But when folk bring their kettles to mend for one hole, I make 3. But my masters, what? I heard news about the court this day that there is a gentleman with a lady gone away, and they have with them a little parasite full of money and coin. By Gog's blood, let us leave of Tinkin and follow them to Purloin, for the little knave hath got it with cogging and telling of tales, and therefore by my consent with his coin we will fill our mails.
Fellow Unthrift, by Gog's blood, here is my hand on that condition. We will take away their purses and say we do it by commission. But by his wounds, although I have no commission to show, I intend not to let them part with their purses, I trow.
A commissioner, Gog's blood, who made a commissioner of you? If you have no better answer at the bar, you wilt hang, I tell thee true.
Hang, you tinkerly slave, shift will scape when drift shall be hanged.
Tush, my masters, you are both as good as ever twanged.
I pray thee, good unthrift, stand back and let me try with that slave.
If thou darest, I'll lay my hammer on your pate, you knave.
My master's leave of your brawling, thus one with another.
By Gog's blood, I cannot hold my hands, and if he were my brother, you whoreson Barbary slave, come again, and thou dare.
By his wounds, to hurl my kettle at thy head, I take no great care.
And if thou hurl thine, think not but again. Both skillet, basin, and hammer shall at thy head amain, and therefore by Gog's blood hurl, and thou dare.
If thou do begin, then hang me, and I spare.
Well then, my masters, to it with a good will and never care.
They fight.
And I will play on my kettle as though it were a drummer. Stay, no more brawling now with another.
By Gog's blood drift, I'll break your noddle if you were my brother. And thou be an honest fellow, Thrift. Let us but try.
Come, and thou dare, for I pass not a turd for thee, I.
Do they fight again?
No, some other stuff goes on.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay.
Anyway,
And ...
the epilogue. I think this is... actually, Emily, would you like to read the
I
epilogue?
would
'Cause I think
love
you'll like
to.
it.
Yes, okay. All right. Time is pictured forth to view, all bare and bald behind, with sickle in his hand to cut when it doth please his mind. With that his sickle all are cut, and all thing brought to end. As we are now by time cut off from farther time to spend. So, time saith to us, cease now here. Your audience much ye wrong. If I farther now to weary them, the time ye do prolong. Wherefore we render humble thanks for this your courtesy, and for your quiet patience we thank you heartily. Offense we trust we have none made, but if aught have scaped amiss, we pardon ask and will amend when we know what it is.
And there we'll stop. Conventional calls to the Queen. Basically, what happens is the play reaches a point and then it stops.
I love...
The epilogue is basically the person comes on and said, I'm terribly sorry, the play has to end here because we've run out of time.
I want this epilogue in everything. Oh my gosh.
It's like, they just went, play's too long. We couldn't figure out how to end it. It has to end here.
Do you know, actually, it reminds me, there is a bit in a bit of Fry and Laurie that does that, where they just end it in that meta-theatrical way. So if they can do it, and they could do it in 1576, we could do it now. Oh my gosh, that's so great.
It's so fun. Yeah, wherefore we render humble thanks for this your courtesy and for your quiet patience. We thank you heartily.
But also,
which is actually a very
now
old
go home.
Yeah,
a very old what?
A very old sentiment, that one. Thanking the audience for being quiet and putting up with this rather long show. It's unbelievably long, this play. It's really fun. It's an over-the-top romance thing that just goes all over the place. It's a mess. I think you could cut it into something good, but it is a mess. But it is really fun as well, as you I'm sure noticed with the drift and shift and unthrift.
Because are these 14ers? Hey, lively by Gog's blood we tinker.
Oh, we're 30%, it is, yes.
Hey, lively by Gog's blood we tinker.
Oh, yes.
man stay. We are in the city. There's nothing but tinkle tink all the day. Even some octameter. And by Gog's blood shift, I cannot. When by Gog's blood shift, I cannot go, but my basin must tang. 8. And by your leave, if I had not devised this drift, I might go hang. 8. And by his wounds, my masters, I am. By his wounds, my masters, I am in the state you twain be. Yeah, it's sort of somewhere between 7 and 8. And we were largely playing each line, taking breaths on a lot of half lines or taking a sort of little mini caesura. But gosh, these are long lines. But at the same time, as we've noticed before, having a longer line can stave off the rhyme since this is all in couplets. But then you see, but it's not just 8 because and there is a gentleman with lady gone away is 6, And then towards the bottom, I think it went down to 5 or 4. So this is not keeping any sort of strict meter whatsoever, but it is bouncy and fun. And it's awfully fun as well to have Gog's blood, G-O-G, and yet still capitalized Gog. Also, Tinkle Tink.
Yeah. It's got a lot of really fun stuff, and it's one of these ones where we don't know precisely where it dates. 1576 is its sort of latest date.
Right.
Any time in the last 10, 20 years, it's so difficult to tell.
And by the reference to tinking, do they mean plumbing?
No. To be a tinker is to work with. That's where you meant kettles. To do with like tinkering.
Yeah. So
yes, I couldn't remember what job that referred to.
Sure.
Yeah, so your itinerant tinker will do any random mending of
right. So that's where like
metals.
With the I put in
metal mending. Okay.
If someone brings me a kettle with 1 hole, I make 3 holes.
Yeah.
I see.
Right.
Joiner. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay.
I was thinking of the mechanicals from no particular play.
Right. Will you go down a wee bit, please?
Yes.
Wow. We can't get anywhere near. We're just being slapped left and right.
Unless we're saying a company name, apparently.
No, that's fair. Well, and saying a company name while Rob runs away for a moment. And thou be an honest fellow, thrift, let us but try. Yeah. The meter's all over the place.
It's very irregular.
The view all bare and ball behind, with sickle in his hand to cut when it doth please his mind. Yeah, it's back to 7, 8-ish. But it's so playable.
That's why I like it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Fun. Well, and characters are there immediately. I'm thinking back to the choral piece that you did earlier, Colin, and how you said basically, like we've talked about before, to sort of black out or go through a black hole as Alex Rosenfield, a dramaturg, but an actor that I knew way back when in New York, coined the sensation of I'm reading words, but I have no idea what I'm saying. I've blacked out. I'm going through a black hole. Yeah. That chorus had no the main thing is the chorus had no character to sort of hang on. And it was using poetic devices, but it wasn't using rhetoric. And rhetoric is just more audible and makes it easier for an audience to follow your argument, basically. Because it will repeat words, things like that. Yeah, but even this epilogue has a sort of character in it.
It has this. You really get the impression this guy has just been thrust on stage and just said, "We have to end it now. The last buses are leaving."
Yes.
And I'm going to sprint away before you have a chance to gather your tar and your feathers. And
I'm running away. Ha ha, Narf. As Pinky once said.
Yes.
We got quaff Pinky.
Right. So, we're drawing to the end of what we have time for. So, I actually want to go back to a play we did last time. 1572's The Conflict of Conscience, because I think we skipped through some of this.
Okay.
And I just want to just to close the session. I have a little bit I wanted to do just from. Did we do the fighting of hypocrisy? I think we skipped this. I think I said go straight to horror, and there was a reason why I put this text in.
Yes, so I remember doing horror.
Yeah, we skipped this bit. So this is the true story, Nathaniel Wood's, the thing about the person who converts and then is forced to convert, and he has a terrible time and commits suicide at the end. So it's all all really depressing. So what we've got is this tyranny and hypocrisy and avarice. We've got all these sort of vice characters.
That's what we're specializing in. We started with Satan. We're ending with.
So,
Lord,
so we got hypocrisy, we've got avarice, we've got tyranny. Who do you want to be? Pick your vices.
I'll be hypocrisy.
Okay.
I'm feeling hypocrisy.
I'm feeling tyrannical. That
I'll
means
be
that you've got to be
Excellent.
avaricious there, Rob. Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. So, let's say, we just dived to the horror because it was quite Senecan last time, and that's why I did it. But actually, I just wanted to, again, we're still in the 1570s. We're still in this sort of interlude mode. We're still in allegorical figure mode. Let's just have a little dance through this.
Great.
Okay, all right. And asking for no context, here I go. Hypocrisy. Well may the covetous be likened to a drone, which of the bee's labours will spoil and waste make, and yet to get honey no labour will take. The covetous likewise from poor men extort, their gains to increase they only do seek, and so they may have it of them a great sort. What means they use for it they care not a leak. Yet will these misers scarce once a week have one good meal at their own table. So by avarice to help themselves they are unable. Avarice to a fire may well compared be, to the which the more you add, the more still it crave. So likewise the covetous mind we do see, though riches abound, do wish still more to have. And to be short, your reverences to save, to a filthy swine such misers are comparable, which, while they be dead, are nothing profitable.
Nay, farewell, tyranny, I came hither too soon. I perceive already I am too well known. I were not best in their claws for to come, unless I were willing to be clean overthrown.
By the preaching of God's word, all this mischief is grown, which if hypocrisy might happily expel, all we in safety and pleasure might dwell. Stay therefore, while from hypocrisy we hear.
Dispatch then this merchant, lest our counsel he tell.
I am content for God's cause this cross for to bear.
It is best killing him now his mind is set well.
Your scoffing and mocking God seeth each deal.
Yea, dost thou persist us still thus to check? Thy speech I will hinder by cutting off thy neck.
Nay, hold thy hand, Cadby, thou hast killed me enough. What? Never the sooner for a merry word? I meant not good earnest to your maship. Maship? Question about that later.
Maship, yes, mastership, yes.
Oh, okay. An elision, one of those old elisions. Okay, I meant got not good earnest to your maship, I vow, but I did but jest, and spake but in board. Therefore of friendship put up again thy sword.
Nay, caitiff, presume not that thou shalt go scot-free. Oh, wow, scot-free was used back then. Okay. Therefore hold still, and I will soon dispatch thee.
What?
Clang, clangity, clang, clang, clang.
Tyranny! I pray thee, tyranny, know first who I am. Ye purblind fools, do your lips blind your eyes? Why, I was in place long before you came, but you could not see the wood for the trees. But, in faith, Father Avarice, I will pay you your fees for the great goodwill which you to me bear, and in time will requite it again. Do not fear.
Content yourself, good master Hypocrisy, the words which I spake unaware.
Hold thy hand, Hypocrisy, I pray thee heartily. So like a madman with thy friends do not fare.
For neither of you both a pin do I care. Go shake your ears, both like slaves as ye be, and look not in your need to be holden to me.
What?
Holden of me. Holpen?
Holpen.
Holpen,
What?
yes.
Okay.
Master Hypocrisy, will you take snuff so soon? Marry, then, you are need to be kept very warm.
I sway to your mastership by the man in the moon, that to your person I intended no harm.
But that I am weary, I would both your tongues charming. See how to my face they do me deride. I will not therefore in your companies abide.
Why, Master Hypocrisy, what should you that I do? For my offence of mercy, I you pray.
With thee I am at one, but of that merchant too, I look for some amends, or else I will away.
The presumptuous fool's part herein thou dost play. What? Of thy master dost thou look for obeisance? I will not once entreat thee. If thou wilt, get thee hence. Okay, I'm sorry.
So-
Obeisance, get thee hence. Wow. Oh, that's a good one.
Hence.
That's a good one.
Perfectly reasonable. It's another example of the vices not getting along. It's the evil doers, the crooks, the criminals arguing amongst themselves, having a massive fight, and generally being. But it's interesting you're talking about scot-free and other turns of phrase in there where you're sort of going, oh, I've heard that somewhere else. That sounds awfully familiar. It can't be that such and such terms are commonplaces that may exist in wider literature. I'm sure you don't know what I mean.
Of course not.
I mean, it's
What a strange thing to say.
It's not like there's any lines in here that any other person would be lauded for their wit at all.
Yeah, I've never heard "shake your ears" before. "Hold thy hand." Yeah, there's so much that's doesn't appear anywhere else in the canon.
No. And in 1572, it's not like it precedes anything at all.
Nothing of note, anyway.
No, absolutely nothing. So that's the first the opening salvo of the 1570s. We're now getting towards the latter end of the 1570s. There are some bigger playhouses now in place. We are probably seeing cast sizes are going to start creeping up.
Right.
That is something we're going to be seeing. We're going to be seeing some slightly different dramaturgy going on in the next time we meet. And, of course, we're increasingly persecuting Catholics. I think this is an important point, and that's also why I wanted to go back to these three Catholic figures here:
okay.
avarice, tyranny, hypocrisy, who are all stand-ins for agents who might be against the national interest. We are
secret papists.
Yes, we are seeing. We are starting to see some genuine persecution. It's not just the situation we had at the beginning of the decade where the Pope excommunicates and everything gets a bit awkward. We're starting to see some your pucker preliminary stuff going on here. It's gonna get worse. There are going to be executions and deaths as well as your background fining, but the fines. And the way these things function will get worse as the decades pass. And these plays, like I say, are setting up the groundwork in part for some of that.
Right.
Just to depress everyone as we close the session.
Well,
that's a very interesting note historically.
Yeah.
Like to see what this is almost like. In a literal sense, kind of culturally setting up, or at least reflecting the cultural preparation of. Oh.
Yeah. I don't know though. It's still it's always fun to see. Because I'm looking at this, and we read a lot of stuff with slang today. And it's always fun to see slang, I think, because I don't know about you, but it just reminds me that, like, we could rewrite this with contemporary slang and and maybe not call it hypocrisy or whatever as a dead giveaway, call the person.
Sure.
I don't know, Frank or something. And it would play. People's is people's.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Thus quaff the Muppets. Yeah. But also, I think I can't get over how exciting that bit of Abraham was. Because can we go down to it real quick again?
Yeah. I mean, even just looking physically at the shape of the verse as we scroll down from 14ers,
keeps changing. Yes,
prose, iambic pentameter, and then what Golding's doing there.
A bit further, if you don't mind, just the second Abrahamic. Down. There it is. Yeah, I can't get over this. What burn him while I will do so. That last bit, that we talked about before, just because, and I'm trying to rack my brain of everything else we've read thus far, since we've been reading chronologically. But I think this is that feels like the first piece I've read that feels like what I love best in either Duckman or Friends of Duckman or contemporary verse plays do. There is something so genuinely human, not just and human in the way that there are contradictions in a person.
Yes.
Yeah.
It reflects thinking on the line.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah.
Genuine thinking. Realistic thinking.
Right. I didn't feel like I had to push to find the emotion either. That it was in the language as chosen. And while there were hints of that, Rob, when we were looking at, some of the Proto-Senecan stuff in the 1560s, this little piece, there's something really special about it that I haven't felt, even in the stuff that feels more human or front or whatever.
It's something interesting happens. I think it's something interesting about Abraham plays generally is that they are, even going back to the medieval, they are often the most genuinely human, in the sense that you've got someone being asked to do something terrible,
horrific,
and they question it. The Broom play of Abraham and Isaac, which I think is the best of them, is when I did the audio version of that, I treated it like a horror film.
Yeah.
And, the soundscape is pure, for that is pure Lynch, frankly. It's these hard winds, but they're almost industrial sounds, and it's just oppressive, and you can't get away from it. And the ironies just keep building, and it is this thing of just going, I really don't want to do this, and Daddy, why are we in this field?
Right.
Let me carry this wood. What's it for? And the ironies build and the ironies build. And you keep getting these little snapshots. And there's another play, actually, I want us to go back to.
Great, yeah.
Which is about Christ's burial, which again is doing something very genuine in a way you don't expect from an older text. And I'm sure there are other moments like this, actually. It's just we just haven't cherry picked them and found them.
Sure.
Something of Every Man has a similar speech, which is actually very interior driven, and does that kind of work. So maybe I will curate some of that.
The briefs that we had when we started this crossover season between our podcasts was that we were interested in different types of verse, in the evolution of verse drama. And so that's absolutely what you've been picking for us. And it's been delightful to see all sorts of different rhyme schemes and meters and line lengths and, in the evolution now of paragraph form. But we didn't say, find us every genuine moment of human emotion.
And it also, I think it's partly to do with playing indoors or playing within an architectural space.
1000%. It's so true.
I don't think a lot of medieval drama can do psychology because it has to bellow on a street.
Yep.
And I think you can't play with ideas when you're bellowing at the street. So that's when, the plays of John Hayward that we looked at earlier that are all about ideas and debating ideas and throwing ideas around. You can only do that in a room with people. They are very much room plays. And, that player isn't particularly interested in character and emotion in the same way. But it's the same logic that you're saying, I can push this idea and people can hold on to the idea for long enough. In the same way you can say, let's talk about a character's journey and play with that. And it's something that seems to be, and it's not that people couldn't do it, they just didn't do it.
Right.
necessarily, and that may also be a language thing. Is actually the English language wasn't elastic enough until about the early 15th century because they just didn't have enough words. It's not until you get a Chaucer pushing his generation pushing the envelope of what English as a language can do, because it was always second tier. And I think this is also a problem that some people say when they're talking about early drama, are saying, "Oh, it's so simple, it's so basic," and they're going, "Well, dramaturgically, it's not. It's just the language is more basic,
right?
Or is certainly doing a different kind of job of work. Its syntax is different. That's not the same as what's happening on stage."
Right. I have a terrible question to ask. I'm gonna ask it. We may need to pause and Google it, or even this will be something that we can come back to. But so this Abraham bit is from the French, and I know nothing really about the development of French drama in terms of like when did they have indoor stages? Do you know?
No, I mean I do know of some French plays from this time. And I certainly know what happens a little later on. I can feel around the edges of it. I certainly know that they are also very interested in the neo-classical drama.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean,
and they are doing.
Richelieu's going to be coming along very soon and helping to create, like, enforce the unities.
So we've got, for example, the playwright Robert Gardenier, who writes. Lots of plays, but he writes 2 that are translated into English any minute now. Next 10 years or so. So he must be. I'm fairly certain he's writing about now. So he's writing the same kind of Senecan dramas that we're translating, but he's writing his own plays. And one is the Tragedy of Antony, which is later translated by Mary Sidney, one of the first female texts that we have. And we also have, is it? I should remember this off the top of my head. It's translated by Kidd Cornelia, I think. Yes, Cornelia, which is another Roman history play. Right. And so there is definitely a movement, and there is a cross-fertilization with France. And this is part of that, I think.
Right.
And certainly they have their own mystery tradition, and they have their own performance tradition. And I don't know where this fits within that. I'm assuming this is a performative text. I assume it's designed to be performed in some way, but their mystery tradition is very different to ours, and it's also very similar to ours. So there are big differences and the big similarities, of which I don't know enough to be able to say.
Well, if any listeners
with authority
know, you should contact us all on various social media platforms.
Yes. So we're online at Beyond Shakes, where you can throw passive-aggressive abuse at us at your heart's content. And you can also contact us at admin@beyondshakespeare.org if you want to, or have any questions. And you can always sign up for our exploring sessions. We do Zoom sessions every week, pretty much, several times a day, several times a week, and we read through plays and discuss them in a similar fashion to this. Is how we're in a situation to be able to have this kind of conversation. So you can always join us there. There are always sign-up forms on the website beyondshakespeare.org. How can we find you?
Best thing to do is probably to go to hamlet2hamilton.com. That's TO, not the number 2. And we're at Hamlet2Hamilton on all the socials that exist. Only on Twitter do you need to use the number 2 in between, because there were not enough characters to spell out TO. You can also email us. Yeah, that's why.
In the artist formerly known as Twitter.
Right. And you could also email us at hamlettohamilton@gmail.com. But everything should be on the website hamlettohamilton.com. Or certainly on your favorite podcatcher. Type in Hamlet to Hamilton. There we are. Yes. We have a Discord server. We have a Patreon for how you can get access to our Discord server, where we have folk especially working on contemporary verse drama and sort of helping each other out on the Discord server as they're doing just new plays in verse. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
That's what
I
we do.
Get on that server.
Yeah. I did invite you, Colin. It's fine. It's fine.
I'll find it.
You're just, off living the actor's life in Chicago.
It's some kind of life out here. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, all that remains is to thank my wonderful guests for being wonderful. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, Reb. A pleasure as always.